Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Thank you for all your support. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. How you feeling, Caitlin Clark fans? How you feeling, Indiana Fever fans? That is right. The New York Liberty have suffered their first loss of the season at the hands of Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. And you know what? For the most part, it was fun to watch. Isn't that shocking? Dear WNBA players, if you play like this, the fans will watch you too. I'm just saying. Now, right before I started doing this video, I got a notification in my PayPal. And I just want you to know that that has nothing to do with this announcement I'm just about to make, that I'm not going to say anything negative about Coach Stephanie White. Okay, they're completely separate things. Oh, come on now. This channel may be small, but it tells the truth, and that is never going to change. And that's why it's mighty for the same reason. Small, but mighty. So, hey, you know what, Caitlin Clark? The the good and the bad of it, I guess. Well, obviously she came out with some adrenaline, the type of player she is. She wanted to play from the get-go. You were not keeping the emergency brake on. You were not reining her in. You were not putting her on a leash and making her stand in the corner. You could try, but you would not be successful. 25 points in the first half. Now, a concern is, and look, credit to everyone, mostly their defense. The Liberty only had 17 points in the fourth quarter. They scored fewer and fewer points as the game went on, 26, 24, 21, 17. They went like 4 or 5 minutes in the fourth quarter of not scoring. So that's what won them the game. Caitlin Clark didn't have a point in the fourth quarter. Now, she didn't take many shots. She was off when she did. I think part of that in the fourth was just, the legs. She shoots with her legs from distance, and having not played in a while, I don't care what anyone says, practice is not the same. And I think she just got, she got a little of the rubbery leg syndrome in the quarter. And in fact, I think one was way long that came off hard, and I think that was her trying to adjust, that she knew she had tired legs and she was trying to make sure she got the oomph that she needed, and actually shot long. But had 25 points in the first half. Picked up another 7 in the fourth, 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. Probably should have had 15 or 16 assists, honestly, because another problem we did have were the layups, folks. This team, no more outings, okay? Caitlin Clark can go to Pacers games. The rest of you ladies, no. You need to lock yourselves in the gym until you can't miss a layup. It's got to. And I know there was one Caitlin missed too, just barely, but that was to beat the shot clock. She was going hard to the hoop. And just to say, hey, it's not just Caitlin. Lexi missed one that I would say was a high degree of difficulty as well. So, I mean, to be fair, not all layups are created equal. But again, in general, I mean, Kelsey had one on our breakaway that she missed. She had another one on a great pass from Caitlin under the basket that was easy that she missed. I mean, there were just definitely too many missed layups. Natasha Howard, well, Natasha Howard. Now, look, kudos. I will say this in the positive. Kudos to Steffi White for what she did in terms of minutes. Now, you can't do it all game, of course. You need everyone. This team does not have the depth it seems to think that it does. But what I saw a lot today for really the first time all season was the core four plus Sophie Cunningham, which, as I said, is their best five. That's their best five, right? Lexi, Kelsey, Aaliyah, Caitlin, Sophie, the best five. Not a lot of size, granted, but you know what? If they're playing aggressive pressure defense and they're running on offense, you can negate that size, because guess what? Those big players, yeah, you've got to defend the big bodies, but those big players got to run all over the court and try and defend you, because those are also all players who can shoot the three. They're all players who can run, and that is not easy for those big bodies dragging themselves up and down that court. Sabali was hurting. I'm telling you, she did not like to have to move, because that is a big body. And I know I'm going to get people who's going to be like, oh, you're shaming. No, a lot of basketball players are big. Look at Luka right now, man. That boy needs to drop about 50 pounds. But anyway, Yeah, so I mean, Lexi was 5 of 10, 3 of 4 from three, 14 points, four rebounds, two steals, two assists. I mean, did her normal stuff. Aaliyah was Aaliyah was solid. She was. I would have liked to have seen a couple more shots go in, but overall, still 4 of 10, 11 boards, 6 assists. That's pretty good stuff. That's pretty good stuff from Aaliyah. Kelsey got hot when it was needed, right? She picked up some big buckets in the fourth quarter. Did not shoot well going into the fourth. Ended up 9 of 21, which isn't great. Only 3 of 10 from three. 22 points on 21 shots is not great, but she was big in the fourth quarter and she was hustling, overall. But again, the bench, Sophie Cunningham came off the bench. She ended up playing 25 minutes. She was freaking plus 31. Are you kidding me? I mean, things were clicking when she was in there. And I got to give a shout out to Sydney Colson. Like I said, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. She hit two big 3-pointers in the second half. 3 of 4 overall. 10 points in 20 minutes, picked up 6 assists. So I'm going to shout her out because she deserved it, folks. She really, really did. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, this is a huge win. Obviously, we saw Caitlin come back, and like I said, this is a team that I think, if they play correctly, should average 100 points a game, and they dropped 102 points. Guess what else they did? They took 77 shots, and they did it well. 37 to 77, 48% overall, 17 to 35, 48.6% from three. Now 11 for 16 from the line. I would like to see, 13 of 16 I'll live with, but there you see the difference. And I don't the way Stephanie White talked, I don't think this was all Stephanie White, but I think Caitlin was that she was like, she got in there, she's like, I'm gonna go 125 miles an hour because that's all I know how to do. I haven't played in 3 weeks, and I play every day. It's who I am, and I'm gonna go, go, go. And you saw early on, I mean, her threes, she didn't hit normal threes. I mean, she hit threes that we've seen her hit before, but she hit like four logo threes in a row, like four 30+ foot threes, to the point where there was one, and I do have the one. I don't have a lot of clips, so you'll probably see like, some of those hype videos that I have of Caitlin Clark I'm putting on here because I wanted to get this out. I wanted to get my thoughts out there. And I'll talk about it in another video, but there's been a real crackdown on some things with YouTube. But anyway, I will show you this one because this was kind of funny, and I gave props to Brianna Stewart because it's kind of all you can do. I think this was like the third or fourth one in the row. You can see where she is, right? There's that inbounds line, right? And she's just like boom, and then you can see, look, Brianna Stewart, and I like this, man. She's like because that's who was Gardner, and she knows she's in no man's land on Caitlin Clark out there when she's on fire. And props to her because as a competitor, you're really competitive, but you're playing someone else who's great, and they're unconscious, as we like to say. Yeah, I mean, all you can do is laugh and enjoy it, man. That was absolutely wild, that stretch she had in the first half with the 3 pointers. Absolutely wild. But yeah, I feel like Caitlin ignored Steph White a little bit. We saw a lot more of Stephanie White's offense in the second half, and it struggled. I mean, Caitlin was at 32, 7 and 7 after 3 quarters. Didn't even get a double double. Although, like I said, if she had gotten some layups from some teammates, she easily had 15, 16 assists instead of 9. So and I bring that up because I know you're like, oh, we just got to celebrate this. It's an amazing win. Yeah, absolutely. But I bring it up because in most games, and when you get to the postseason, you don't get away with that, right? It's the type of thing that comes back and bites you. But I think you saw, especially in the first half, um, when what the fatigue wasn't getting to her, that this is absolutely what happens when you just put the ball in Caitlin's hands. Instead of negating your own player's strengths because you assume that the other team is going to take it away, you just put it in her hands, let her do what she does, let her work that offense, let her control things, let her be the court general out there as she should be. Great things happen. Right. I mean, whether it's pick and roll with AB or she's just going to shoot the three, or there was in the first half during that stretch of brilliance where she just hit an insanely nice pass on a backdoor cut from Mitchell. There was a breakaway, right? We got the rebound, got it in Caitlin's hand. She threw one of her 3-quarter passes that was like no one else in the league completes that pass. It had to be absolutely perfect to AB, and it was. And you saw that early multiple times from Caitlin Clark. She is a game changer, and they can't take away all of her strengths. This is not a player who says just shoots the logo three, because you know what? If you focus on it, you can take that away. But you can't take away her logo three and her passing and her handles of getting to the rim and her mid range game, which she does have. She just doesn't use it a lot. So just put the ball in her hands and let things go. I mean, the driving, the passing, the transition game, and I just hear too often about Steph White seeming to want to limit that, which is I think is a mistake. And then when Clark first went out in the first quarter, because again, I get that substitution, okay, because she hadn't played in like 3 weeks. But you notice there was instant sloppiness when she went out. Two straight bad, sloppy turnovers on the possessions right after Caitlin Clark went out. But man, seeing how well Caitlin started this game, it irks me. Like I want to be all pumped, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, why did you put together this roster that can't run and a coach that doesn't want to run? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? But yeah, I wrote down in my notes just to give you an idea because I was it four in a row. I think I stopped after three. I wrote in all caps. I'm taking notes of the game, and I've got F yeah, F yeah yeah F yeah yeah because she was like boom boom boom, 14 points in the first quarter, folks. Absolutely insane. The refs were terrible again. Like I said, I don't know if there's anything we're gonna be able to do about that. That just seems to be the way it is. Caitlin Clark picked up a technical, which was an absolutely it was a terrible call to begin with. Caitlin Clark complained a little bit and not excessively. I have no problem with the amount of complaining she did on that call. It is a soft, thin skinned referee who's an absolute soy boy who cannot cope with life and has no business being on a basketball court in a position like referee. It's inexcusable. Any good referee will tell you they will give players, especially stars, a certain amount of leeway when the passion of a game is going and a call goes against them that they don't like. That is what good referees do. They are able to manage that, and they will let a player have their say. And if they feel it's going too far, they will then warn them, "Hey, okay, I let you express yourself, and that's enough." And then if it continues, they will give them the technical. But that's not what happens with these fools, and it's ridiculous. First half, Caitlin was 9 of 13, 6 of 9 from three. Okay, so you could see a little bit how that changed, right? So she was only 2 of 7 in the second half, only 1 of 5 from three. I think her legs kind of got, you know, she lost her legs a little bit. Let me just put it that way, which is completely understandable with the way this game was going, because again, she was the point guard. She was the point guard for a team that dropped 102 points on the Liberty. Think about that, okay? And she still played 31 minutes. So it was a little sloppy, 7 turnovers. Although, it's again, the turnovers are also a little silly when I see how that. She took a turnover for just dribbling out the shot clock towards the end of the game because it didn't matter. So you get stuff like that too. Um, but hey, man, overall, I just got to say, so much fun to have Caitlin back. Just to say, I mean, even if the threes in the fourth when they're not dropping, just everything about the way that she plays this game is so different than anything we've ever seen in the women's game. And like it's tough because I know some people probably feel like this is like an insult, but Lexi, Sophie, AB, Kelsey, Dantas, who hit a big three as well, you know, the way they play with Caitlin Clark, they look a lot more entertaining too, right? And so they have to have that skill that they have and that ability and that athleticism to be able to elevate and play with Clark, but they are much more enjoyable when Caitlin Clark is part of that. Um, there was a play, and Howard's at 1 for 4. Now, oddly enough, it was a bucket she made, but when Caitlin was really hot in that stretch in the first half, and she missed one, but they got it back, and she got herself in a position to be wide open for a three. And Howard is back to basket with the ball and looks right at Caitlin and does not give her the ball. Instead, bangs in the post. At a time in the fourth quarter where Stephanie White, I don't know if it's because they had a big lead. They were up 16 at one point. I think up 11 going into the fourth. Do I have that right? And I think Steph changed the offense a little too much. Again, I think it was partly Caitlin started missing because she was getting tired, but they also switched up the offense, right? They slowed it down a lot more. They were playing Caitlin off the ball a lot more. They were posting up Natasha Howard, who was, again, 1 for 4 for the game. I don't know why you're posting her up in a big moment in the fourth, but But man, overall, and it looked like White's offense to start the third quarter too, which was a struggle before things started absolutely clicking. And that's when I really noticed that the core four plus Sophie was getting a lot of time. I mean, they went on a 19-0 run, 19-0 run in the second half, man. And then again, I will say this in defense, it's a little bit of a struggle because it's I don't know if the word's natural I want to use, but I get it from a coaching perspective when you're like, okay, we've got a big lead, so let's not run because we want to use clock and this and that. But sometimes that backfires and you're taking away what you're doing well and trying that got you the lead, right? Same thing like football, right? When these football teams and they get a big lead, and now all of a sudden they're gonna use up all the clock and they're gonna start running the ball, even though they were having success passing the ball, and or defensively they get the big lead, so the defense which was great all game. Now they're going to play a prevent, and a lot of people, they call because it messes up so much. They call it a prevent the win defense because they start laying off, being less aggressive, and the other team starts getting into a rhythm and marching down the field. And then when you have to make a stop, you can't because you've lost all that momentum. So a little bit of this as well. I thought, but I do think there was a little too much of the Stephanie White offense that she wants to show us in the fourth quarter. Um, but hopefully, hopefully she puts her ego aside and looks at all this and is like, yeah, okay, I get it now. It's Caitlin Clark is the system. We're gonna have to run the read and react because we can do so many things off of that. That's the thing. It's not, oh, this is the one thing that we're gonna do. And if they take that away, like I said, if all she could do is shoot logo threes, I get it. They can try and take that away. You do other things, but obviously there's so much more to her game than that. The defense was absolutely fantastic in the fourth quarter. Um, I mean, 38 points to give up in the second half, only 17 in the fourth quarter. And New York shot 42.3%, 30 of 71, only 6 of 29 from three. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna leave it there. I know I probably went through that like I just had uh, five cans of Red Bull, but yeah, I was pumped up. It was so much fun to see Caitlin playing entertaining basketball again. So yeah, looking forward to the next one. That is a huge, huge win. I know that the Liberty didn't have Jonquel Jones, but that's part of the way it goes with the season. And you never know. Like I always said, short term, teams can play better when they're missing a star. And let's face it, the Liberty are stacked either way, even with someone like JJ out of the game. That is a stacked team over there. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about this game, about seeing Caitlin Clark back. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate all your support. Go have the day you deserve, or what's left of it, and I will talk to you later.